everyone, and welcome to Food for Life this week. I am so excited to share with you my next guest. Her name is Ashley Batlles, and she has a really cool job. And ladies, you need to listen to everything she says. She's going to make us look pretty. She's going to hear, not that we're not pretty, she's just going to enhance our natural beauty. We're going to hear about some things in the beauty industry and how she started her business. Now, we have a few housekeeping things. I have an event coming up if you're in the New England area in Rhode Island in Providence, May 26th. I'm going to show you, I'm going to put up the ticketing on the screen here for you. So it's to benefit the American Heart Association, the Southern New England. As some of you know, that I've been talking about it. My dad died of a heart attack and my grandfather, and it's something that's very personal to me. And come out, you get to eat some great food. You're gonna have a lovely time. It's outdoors, so we get some fresh air. It's a great way to kick off Memorial Day weekend. So go get your tickets and we will be able to see you in person. Maybe I get to meet some people in person. How amazing would that be for the first time, right? Now, after these messages, I'm going to welcome our guest, Ashley Batlles of Beauty Battles, and we're going to get into it, okay? Hi, Ashley. I'm so happy to have you on the show today.
Hi, Ashley. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, that's going to be so weird. Two Ashleys in one show. Can you guys handle it today?
Double the fun.
Yes. Oh, I like that. Double the fun today. Now, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, hi. My name's Ashley. I am a mother of two girls. I am a business owner. I am a lot of things. So, I mean, let's dig in on what I am.
Well, let's start with, what would you like to tell us other than being a mother, a business owner? Like,
well, that's my identity. Yeah. So I feel like I am, I love what I do. I love what I have going on here. I've been able to create such an amazing space within my business itself. It's an advanced beauty spa. So what that means is that we offer a lot of different services that are spa-like services, and then some that are maybe not so much, but that you have to go to multiple different places to find these services. Mm-hmm. And I kind of try to house them all in the same place. So it turns into more of a one-stop shop. Cool. And these services kind of just go from, from your normal waxing, body waxing, facials, to more advanced services like microblading, body sculpting, teeth whitening, fibroblasts, different things like that.
So we'll get into all that, like what Absolutely. Those are and how all that happens. But how did, you started out in cosmetology, right?
Yeah. So the beauty of cosmetology, especially in the state of Massachusetts, is that it actually covers a lot of different services that you're able to do. So if you go to school for aesthetics, you can only do aesthetics. If you go to school for nails, you can only do that. Mm-hmm. If you go to school for cosmetology, you're able to do hair, you're able to do skincare, you're able to do nails, and it's kind of like all like the larger umbrella, where you're able to do all the different services. So
you learn everything if you go to school for cosmetology in Mass.
Yes. So I did start off doing hair right after school. When I graduated from cosmetology school and got licensed. So I was a hairdresser. I did not like it. I did it for a couple of years. Too much information. I mean, I bow down to hairdressers today because there is so much technique and so many different tools and tricks to doing hair, especially with fashion colors and all these different things. So I personally, I turned somebody's hair Barney purple before fashion colors were a thing,
Oh.
back in the early 2000s. And she was okay. I wasn't.
That's funny, but as long as
It's
she
a
was
funny
okay with
story.
it.
Yeah. You can only learn so much in school, and you really get your knowledge and from just experience, from being out in the field, from um, having great mentors, and just being able to actually be in a situation, because school is only going to teach you the things that you need to learn for the
So
test.
my question is what color was that woman's hair supposed to be?
So I don't 100% remember. She was either going, I think she was going from like blonde hair to red hair, and I missed the toner step completely, and it turned purple.
Oh, well, hey, you were fashionable before it was fashionable.
Yes. The answer to that is yes.
Yeah, there we go. We can put a positive spin on that. Things happen, occasionally. As long as our hair looked nice, we're good.
Yeah.
Now,
So yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. You've created this beautiful lounge called Beauty Battles Spa and Lounge.
Well, yes.
And you started off with only a few services, and now you've been adding all these services, like you said in the beginning. Now let's go through like a basic spa has like, waxing, nails, facials. Now, some of these other things you mentioned, don't you have to be certified or go to a med spa for that?
No, so I do not offer any services that you need to go to a med spa for.
Okay.
You do need to get certified in all the services that I do offer. But the way that the laws and regulations work here in Massachusetts, we are able to where just because once I get trained and certified, I can actually train and certify someone else as well for some of these services. So I am certified in all of them, and anything that needs licensing, we also have it. Everybody who works here is a licensed esthetician or cosmetologist, because I do have another one of my employees here. She is one of my girls, because they're my girls. They work here. We're family. We're not. They're not my employees. They're my babies. So she's a licensed cosmetologist, and she's actually waiting to go to take her state board for aesthetics, because she's going to be dual licensed. Even though she didn't need to do that, but she didn't know that when she decided to go to aesthetic school.
Well, that's good. I mean, it can't hurt to be certified in both. Now, some of these procedures, that's cool that you can be able to like get certified and then train your staff.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm the mama bear, so I only do the advanced services right now.
Okay.
Maybe at some point I'll let go of the of those reins for those services. But yes, I haven't, and I don't plan on doing that anytime soon. I really part of the reason why I started staffing was to get some assistance with some of the services that are more on the aesthetic side of things. Originally, when I opened, just to take a couple steps back, actually, we're gonna take a couple steps back. So okay. I did go to school for cosmetology. I did work in hair salons, but I did leave the field for a few years. So I actually worked in sales for about 15 years. So I've sold everything.
That's more than a few years.
Well, I'm not as young as I look, so it is just a few years.
Well, there you go. That's like a sales pitch to people. I'm actually a 70-year-old woman, but I look like I'm 30-something.
Yes. So I did work in sales. I sold everything from engraving machines to cable to cell phones. I was selling cell phones before cell phones were a thing, when people would tell me, no way, I'll never get rid of my house phone. Here we are.
Look at us.
So And then I went ahead and got certified. I had no intentions in coming back into the industry. I definitely didn't expect to open up my own business, but I wanted to do something else because I was in a position where like I loved my job, but it had zero like financial benefits for me. So I decided to go get certified in microblading, and I started doing that, and that continued to grow. And then as that grew, I started adding other services because I made the decision within a month that I was going to leave my full-time job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a huge step when you go from starting a side hustle to this is going to be my job and my passion. It's a scary step, huh?
It's very scary. Luckily I have an amazing husband who, when I told him this, he's like, well, everything that you do, because at one point I also stopped. I wasn't doing sales anymore. I baked for a while when I had my first daughter. I had a baking business. It was actually extremely successful. And I was a pretty well-known cake designer in the area when I was doing this. And but then I decided I needed to buy a house and needed like real income. Not real income, but you know, like a real pay stub. So that's when I went back into the sales world. But my husband's seen me go through, you know, how good I am whenever I do put my mind to something. So he was like, listen, as long as you promise me that you'll be like a dentist office and continue to book your clients coming on in, you do whatever you want. If you feel like this is the right move, go ahead. So I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Keep my schedule full. That light bulb. Absolutely. I'm like, okay, I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave my job. So as soon as I went to put my 2-week notice, and my manager's like, as soon as you started doing this whole thing with the microblading, I knew you were I was waiting for the 2-week notice.
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah. And she's like, I knew you were gonna, like, good luck. Thank you. You know, like she wasn't mad. She was very like supportive. Everybody was super supportive. At the time I was working for Girl Scouts. So it was wonderful.
I find it amazing that, you know, like so much goes to your husband for being such a supportive partner and being okay with us. Because a lot of people, because it's so, you don't know what the financial risks are, and your husband's just like, yeah, all right, go ahead, you're good.
He can he can trust that I will figure it out. And that's, you know, that's kind of been, that's just part of my personality. I put me in any situation, I will figure it out. I will only give up when there is no other option but to give up. So
I share that quality as well.
That's what makes us hustlers. That's what that's called, a hustler.
Yeah. Giving up is never an option unless you absolutely 100% have to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, basically what you run is a business to help women be their best selves. And it's a lot of self-care. Basically, people don't realize that taking an hour for yourself or all that. Why do you think as women, especially business owners or women that are always on the go or moms, that self-care is such a hard concept?
We always, as I'm going to say as women, but men as well, because there are some men, we tend to put everything and everyone in front of us. We want to make sure, I mean, a prime example right here. I will go to a store and I will spend money on my children. Definitely. I will buy them everything and anything they want or need. But God forbid I go into a store and see something that I like and it's more than $20. I'm probably not going to get it for myself. You know, it's almost like a splurge if I get myself that purse I really like, or that whatever it is, right? And it's funny enough that my business has always also become one of my children, where I will like the things I need for here, I will buy. But like, so we tend to put everybody in front of us. We tend to put everything. We wanted to make sure that everything's okay before we can take care of ourselves. So we are always forgetting that if we're not taking care of ourselves, how can we take care of everybody else?
How do your clients feel about that? Do you feel like you've created an environment where, okay, so because you have them booking their next appointment, that they feel like this is, I am taking care of myself? Or is it still for the first few appointments, everyone's like, I don't know about that. Can I fit this into my schedule? Is this too hard to get in?
So schedules is always a problem. For a lot of people, it becomes kind of like that, one of those things that just kind of gets in the way. But obviously finances too. You know, is it something that I can continue to do every month? Is it something I can continue to keep up with? Which we've all been in those situations, right? Like, can I really keep up with that time wise or money wise? But I feel like I've created such a safe space for women and men, because I do have a very healthy male clientele here as well. That they just feel they feel comfortable enough to know that when they come here, they're gonna feel regenerated by the time they leave. And if it's for one service or if it's for a different, it doesn't matter what the service is. Because I always joke around. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go and get myself licensed in therapy as well, because it also becomes like a therapy session. You know, we're able to keep up with what's happening in each other's lives. Sometimes you don't have anybody as an adult who's working, who's taking care of children, who's taking care of the house. You sometimes don't have another adult to vent to, or get some advice from. And luckily I am great at advice. So I do, you know, so that's part of the comfort level, where I do have clients that come every single month, or that come more than a couple times a month, just for different services and different things.
Oh, wow.
Because they do realize how important self-care is.
I like that. And I mean, it's a great example to be setting for your daughter. In the beauty industry, do you feel like, because you're in the beauty industry, you want to set a good example? I mean, as a mom, obviously you want to set a good example, but the beauty industry, especially with the ads and everything that comes out, do you feel like this is how you want, so that your girls and their generation can see?
I don't understand your question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I cut out for a second. You know how your girls, this is the way like beauty should be taken. It's a care for you thing, not a, we need to wear makeup, we need to wear hair, whatever. Because, you know, kids, your girls are at that age where they're probably going to be starting to ask about makeup and hair. And
so I'm very fortunate that my one's 13 and the other one's 5. So the 5-year-old, she's fine rolling out of bed and just going to daycare without a brush going through it at all. But my 13-year-old, she just turned 13. Luckily, she's very comfortable in her own skin and doesn't ask for that kind of stuff. Even if I wasn't in this industry, I would I'd want her to appreciate her natural beauty, and to understand how important it is to take care of yourself, not to necessarily make drastic changes to yourself to feel beautiful, right? Because that also comes with a lot of different aspects of it, right? There's body dysmorphia, there's low self-esteem, there's all these other aspects that can come to wanting to change the way you look, especially when you start at such a young age. My mom was very adamant about us not like dyeing our hair or wearing makeup or anything like that till we were like maybe like 16, 17.
Oh, wow.
It was till I was 16. My sister, who is only a year younger than me, as soon as I would get permission for something, she'd just like slide right in and nobody would say anything. And I'd be like, wait a minute, I had to wait a whole extra year. I'm trying to influence my children that way as well. Because you got to feel good inside, right? You got to feel good inside before it comes on the outside. But there are self-care things, right? So my daughter, Mom, can I shave my underarms? No, we're going to wax them, right? Because the whole purpose is not for you to say I shave my underarms. It's so that you no longer have hair in that area, right? So we're not going to create a bigger issue with it. So things like that, we wax her eyebrows. But it's luckily she fights me every time that she goes. She's a singer. So every time she goes to perform, I do put makeup on her. And she's usually like, Mom, I don't want it, which makes me feel good, you know, but I also want her to look amazing when pictures are being taken.
Well, it's like recitals. Like when we were kids, we got like makeup on when we did dance recitals, or when I was in a skating competition, like we wore makeup from the time we were much younger than we probably should have been wearing makeup.
Right.
It's just
But
something
there's a difference between doing it for a special reason than to do it just because you're going to school.
Yeah, I think I was allowed to wear it for special occasions when I was like 12. And then it was, I think when I was in high school, I wore it more on the regular.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things. I think it's so amazing that people can feel now that if I want a facial, it's because I want it and I want to take care of my skin, not because I feel like, oh my God, I can't stand the way I look in the mirror.
Well, there's more drastic ways of going about it. If it is, I can't stand the way I look in the mirror, right?
Yeah.
Like I can just go get plastic surgery or like fill my face with Botox, which there's nothing wrong with that.
I have no problem with that if it makes you feel better.
Nothing at all. I mean, obviously it's a service I don't offer here yet because I'm not a medical director. But it's so if it's something that you're starting to feel a little uncomfortable in your skin, then yeah, come in for a facial. We have many facials. We have many facials that do a lot of different things. With
I think I have a video of one of your facials.
What was that?
I think I have a video of one of your facials. Hang on one second. Oh no, I think it's waxing. So we were just talking about waxing, and I have a video here. Is that right? Is that what I'm looking at?
Yeah, that's we're doing some eyebrows there on my girl. Look how pretty she is. She's so beautiful.
Do you have to make an appointment for every service you have? Do you take walk-ins?
We do ask for appointments. Our schedules are very tight, and for that reason, we want to make sure that we can devote all the time for you without having to rush on our client that we're seeing at the moment or making you wait, because some of our services are a little bit long. I know I personally, I'm very adamant on being on time for everything, for myself and for my girls that are working here. And I want to make sure that your time is your time as a client, as opposed to just having to sit around and wait. I get anxiety. I'm like, oh my God, I need to get to the next person, even when they show up 10 minutes early. So yeah. I can't imagine having a wait room.
Yeah, I can only imagine you'd have a waiting room that's full.
Yes. Yes. And I'd rather not. Like, I just think that's some services are like 2 hours long. Like, imagine waiting and then, oh no, I have somebody else. Oh, let me squeeze you. No, it doesn't. Make your time your time. It's self-care for a reason. And you need to make sure, even if you're in a rush, that it's your time. Right? Like how much would you like to go to the dentist and have your dentist working on you and then the next person and rushing and like, no.
I don't know about that. I have a question. All the years you've done this, have you ever had to talk somebody out of a procedure or something they wanted to do because they were for any reason?
Talk them out of something. I don't offer any services that are like extremely drastic. The most drastic one would be microblading, which is a semi-permanent tattoo for your eyebrows. So that being said, I did have a client, a beautiful blonde client, very, very fair skin, who asked me to give her black eyebrows. Oh. And yeah, she wanted her microblading to be black. And I said, no. So anybody who comes in with something like an idea of something a little bit more drastic that they want that maybe doesn't really match them, I explain to them that I want to get them as natural of a look as possible, like obviously enhanced, but natural. Because at the end of the day, it's my work. Like if somebody says, what happened to your eyebrows? Oh, Ashley did them. No. So I offered her the natural looking eyebrows, and I told her, when you come back for your retouch, if you still want them darker, we'll make them darker. So we darkened them to the next level. And then I'm like, if you still feel like you want them black, give it to your next retouch, and then you let me know. And she did. She wanted them black, so now we just doing black.
Hey, if it's what you want, I guess that's something for you.
Absolutely.
So not only are you a business owner, but you and your girls are very active in the community, right?
We are. We absolutely are. My girls do a lot of different things. Especially my older one. She, like I mentioned earlier, she's a performer, so we are out and about with her, always singing here and there. So my children are very active. They're in a lot of different things. But I myself, especially with the business, and I'm on a couple different boards locally that gives me the opportunity to get a little bit more involved with the community, do different activities. I get my girls that work here as well to get involved. We do toy drives and coat drives during the winter. We had, and we're planning on restarting special days during the week that will offer a service, and you can either, as the client, choose to get a discount on that service, or donate what the discount would have been to an organization that we've chosen for the month to support. And we try to do a lot of different things. We just did last weekend the clean sweep here in the town that we're in.
Earth Day, right?
Huh?
Was it for Earth Day?
It was for Earth Day, yeah. So we were out in the mean streets of our town. They're not mean. They were great. And we and we cleaned up. We were out there for like 3 hours just cleaning up. And I want to continue to stay active. Not only to for the community to know who we are, but also just to give back to the community. I've been very fortunate to have such great support from so many different organizations and so many different people within the community that there's nothing else that I can possibly do rather than continue to give back to them, because they've given so much to me.
All right, hold that thought. I have a few more questions for you.
Okay.
And after this message from our sponsor, we'll be right back with Ashley to hear some more lovely things that she's been doing.
Hi, I'm Liz Teresa. I help women launch and build online businesses they love.
I needed to give my brand a web presence, but I didn't speak tech. Enter Liz Teresa. With lightning speed, she got the essence of my brand. Her guidance notes, her tips were practical and concrete.
She's the #1 person in my life. I'm so happy she came to me.
So thank you, Liz Teresa. I am so excited to keep working with you.
And we're back with Ashley Battle of Beauty Battles Lounge, and we've been talking about all kinds of things. Mostly we're finding out, Ashley told me that we could get into it and we can find out all kinds of things about her, and I told her to tell us more about herself. So let's see what I can dig up, right? So
yeah,
we were talking about you guys being involved in the community, and there was something I took part in during the pandemic. You had something called the Hero Project. Is that something you're going to continue?
So with the Hero Project, it's been so interesting, right? Like I keep on it's alive. It's alive.
It's alive. Okay.
We've just had to pivot it a little bit. So just to talk a little bit about what the Hero Project was and is becoming, or is. So the Hero Project was a pay it forward fundraiser that I had created during quarantine, where you would do like you would make a donation to pay it forward to our frontline workers to receive services once we reopened. It was so successful. We were able to give services to over 20 frontline workers once we reopened. So Yay. That was awesome. No, it was so great, and there was a couple little aspects to that for the reason why it started, obviously, like fear of like not having any business when I reopened. And which that wasn't the case at all, because everybody found out how important self-care was during that time, when you were stuck in the house with your kids for 3 months.
That'll do it.
Yeah, exactly. But it was great because it was a really wonderful way of being able to give back to the community. Obviously, with the pay it forward, frontline worker, that whole situation just kind of shifted once things started reopening, especially to the point that we are now 2 years later. So the pay it forward aspect isn't it anymore. But that's where the being able to do the different fundraisers or the different donation situations, that's kind of where we've pivoted to. So everything that we do within here in Beauty Battles Lounge to give back is always an extension from the Hero Project. So we're actually I've had to change my attention to different things as I continue to grow, because I didn't expect to be as busy as I was, or for my business to grow as much as it did after we reopened. So obviously staffing and being able to manage my schedule, where I've been booked out like 2 months in advance for 2 years now. So, which is wonderful.
That's amazing. Staffing's an issue for everybody these days.
Yeah. So I just, so because of that, I actually just had a meeting with my team yesterday, and it was funny because they're like, oh, we should do like waxing Wednesdays and facial Fridays. And I'm like, I used to do that. And when I did that, I would offer the discount, right? The discount or the donation option. And I actually still have some really loyal clients from that time frame. So we're going to be introducing that again, hopefully within the next month or so. And what was great about that was that depending on what, every month has a different type of awareness.
Right.
So we're going to be getting a little deeper into like the different organizations we're going to want to work with, depending on what awareness month it is, and be able to bring those aspects back. And those would still, that's an extension of the Hero Project now. But yes, you were wonderful because you definitely participated in that, which was a great way of being able to get other businesses involved in what I was doing. Because one of my other things that I can say I'm pretty passionate about is including other businesses, which you do too, getting involved with other businesses. I love mentoring new businesses that are just up and coming. I love assisting existing businesses. I love working with other businesses because when you expand yourself out to other people, even if they're doing something similar, they're not doing it the same way. And the only way you can grow is by learning, right? If you know everything, this has been my saying the last like month. If you know everything, you're never going to learn anything. So the only way we can continue to grow is by helping each other out. And that's just, that right there is like one of my biggest passions. And you definitely participated in part of that. And I appreciate you so much for that.
Thank you. And I was happy to do it. Anything we can do to help, especially during the pandemic. And I've been happy. I get involved in as many local charities as I can and as many business events that we can be a part of with each other, and we have to support each other. Now, talking about partnerships and other businesses you're involved with, you have partnered with one of my very favorite people, Leanne and Kim of Skin Catering, with their skincare line. So now you carry that in the lounge?
I have been carrying it here in the lounge since I actually opened. So I'm gonna cry. No,
don't cry.
No, I'm not gonna cry. I'm just gonna. I cry in style anyway, so my makeup doesn't even get messed up. So I am very fortunate that as my decision to leave my full-time job and start working for myself, renting a small space in a salon, while I was in that in that world, I decided that I wanted to kind of branch off and open up my own place. And around that time, I met Leanne. I was looking at something that said Kim right now. So I met Leanne, and it so happened, it was actually on Valentine's Day too. So it was on a February 13th. That I got to meet her on. We were both on a local TV show here, and we became friendly after that. And then a couple of weeks later, I got notice that I was going to get that I had gotten accepted for the location that I'm currently in right now. And that same day happened to be my 1-year anniversary of leaving my full-time job. And Leanne sent me this beautiful message congratulating me and just like telling me how proud she was of me. And, this is my friend of 2 weeks. And, but she's been watching me grow.
That sounds like her.
Yeah. She's been watching me grow through through social media and everything throughout this 1 year. And something in my heart was just like, ask her. And I sent her back a text and I'm like, would you be my mentor? This is happening right now and I need guidance. And if it wasn't for Leanne saying yes, first of all, and being my mentor, I don't think I would be where I'm at right now. She definitely, she guided me in making sure that I made every correct decision in getting the space, getting it properly licensed, having it perfectly set up for the state board. Because I do offer advanced beauty services, the cosmetology department, the state board, and the Board of Health in the town that I'm in, they don't really mesh together. The Board of Cosmetology wants certain rules and things set in place where the Board of Health needs them to be the opposite. And
that seems so contrary to what you would think they'd want to go hand in hand.
It's terrible. And this is exactly the reason why you need to make sure that when you're visiting a place, it's properly licensed for all the services that they're offering. Because people like myself and other people in my same situation have gone through it all to be able to be open and to be able to be legally operating. So remember that. Always verify that the place you're at is where it needs to be. So yeah, she definitely guided me through all of that. So when I brought on my first esthetician, because I wasn't going to do any of the aesthetic work, that wasn't my wheelhouse. I was just going to do the advanced services, and then I was going to have an esthetician. So when she came on, my new esthetician came, Kim offered to train her for me. Yeah, and Kim did. She trained her. That's the very same day that she was training her, Leanne and I sat down and we started going through all the different products and what I would need and what I wouldn't need, and for back bar and for retail and all that stuff. So that's how I came to start offering skin catering here. And then once that the esthetician didn't work out, so once she left, they actually gave me the support. They're like, Ashley, you can do anything you put your mind to. Like, we know you. We know how you are. You can do a facial, and you can do a good facial. Like, we know it. And I hadn't done a facial since I was in cosmetology school 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So they're like, here, they sent me paperwork. They're like, this is the protocol. This is how you do it. This is what you use. Take on those clients. And I'm like, okay. And that's exactly what I did. So those two they're so special to me, because without them, I wouldn't be, would I have gotten here? Yeah. Would I have gotten here through a lot of rocky roads and a lot of trials and tribulations? Absolutely. But not as smoothly as I did.
I love that story. And Kim and Leanne are lovely people. And you're right. They do watch stuff and you don't realize it, because when I was starting the show, I ran into Leanne and I had been teasing that I was going to start this new project, and I had no idea they even paid attention to my social media. And Leanne's like, tell me what it is. Tell me what it is. What's your new project? And it's so special to realize how much they pay attention to things.
Yeah. And how much they encourage you too, because sometimes we say things. I know I say things and it's like, I have a lot of ideas. My head is full of ideas. My girls here, they will tell you, they're like, oh yeah, when Ashley spits something out, just like write it down and bring it back to her later on, because she's going to want to work on it. And, but sometimes you say things and they just kind of like disappear with the wind. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said things to Leanne, and that next thing you know, she's like, let's meet up. And let's meet up is because she's ready to create something for you or help you create something. So because of that, I actually have a couple of products. I have my own product line through Skin Catering. And it's not, yeah. And it's not just products that they make. It's actually things that I've asked them for. Like, I need something that does this, but it has to have this and it has to have that, or it needs to do this. And it's for this service and it works this way. And they've created it. I have my own microblading balm to take care of the microblading after you've gotten it done. I have my own cleanser for that. I have a line for my body sculpting services where it's a tightening and firming lotion and serum that we have.
Who couldn't use that though?
Huh?
I said, who couldn't use that? A tightening and
exactly. So we have some plans for that in the very near future. We're just working out a couple details right now as well. So I mean, not only do I carry their products, but they're making me my own products, and they've so successfully helped me get to where I'm at right now. And that's where I go back to, if you know everything, you're never going to learn anything. And if you can sit back and kind of, I was always that kid in class that'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, no, not me. But it was because I wanted the teacher to explain to me a little bit more so I can get it a little bit more. And I think that I call it playing dumb, but I think it's actually playing it smart. But I think that technique really, really helps, because it allows people to want to help you. Because who wants to teach somebody who doesn't want to learn? Right?
I love to ask questions about things. And sometimes I have to be like, okay, am I asking too many questions about this? Or do these people actually realize that I'm being interested in what they're doing? Yeah. I want to learn things because, you know, important. I don't know everything. There's so many different disciplines in food that you could go around the world and learn from 20 different chefs in 20 different countries and learn something new or more than one thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right now, my 5-year-old and I, our favorite thing is to watch an episode of any baking show on Netflix before we go to bed. And I watch some of these shows and I'm like, you know, nailed it. Was kind of like, I could do that. Maybe not in an hour and a half like they get, but I could do it way better than that. But then you see like Cake Impossible or something like that, and you're like, I didn't even know that was possible.
There are a few that definitely do stuff, or they use things that you're like, I never would have thought to use that kind of stuff. Now, before we let you go, I love that you and your daughter watch that. You should let her watch The Great British Bake Off. That's my favorite. Before we let you go, what's coming up for Beauty Battles?
Oh, what isn't? So
well, pick your favorite two.
We're going to talk about the one big project that we have coming up. I'm so excited, so nervous. My anxiety's through the roof. But I can't wait to get there and get it going. We're actually moving into a much larger location. We're currently a 3-room operation, a 3 private room. We're actually a little bit larger than that operation here, and about 700 square feet. And we're going to be moving into a much larger location that's almost 3 times the size. And we're going to be offering a lot more services, a lot more spa-like services like massage, which we're not able to offer right now, nails, pedicures, hair.
That's a lot of services.
Yeah, we're going to be a full-blown spa salon with our advanced beauty twist to it all. So it's exciting. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of everything. Hence my excitement and anxiety.
But that just means you're doing the right thing.
I'm moving in the right direction, and I can only welcome the growth and welcome all the support that I get for it. So yeah,
Can't wait to see when it opens.
Yeah.
All right, Ashley, thank you so much for joining me today, and I'm so happy to have had you on. Is there any last tidbits you want to give out before we say goodbye?
Last tidbits.
No, or last words, whatever you
want. Not really. All I gotta say is make sure that if you're not taking care of yourself, nobody's gonna take care of you. I promise you that. So make sure that you do take care of yourself. We all need our alone moment without feeling guilty about it. And we have to remember that. And always be open to new adventures and possibilities.
I like that. Well, you have a good evening. Thank you for coming on Food for Life, and I hope to see you soon.
Thanks. I can't wait to see you. Bye.
Bye, Ash. Well, wasn't that nice to have Ashley on and to share about self-care and all the amazing things she did? Her business is so cool. So I am going to have, after our messages, we're going to be back with my recipe for this week, and then we will hang out and talk food. So. All right, and we're back, and it is time to cook. So I was thinking, I've been seeing all these amazing pizza places, and they're turning outside into inside. And I was thinking, why not? It's Wednesday. Let's get making some calzones and personal pizzas. Now, I have made just a really simple gluten-free dough here that I split. I want to show you guys. It's sitting under a dishcloth with lots of flour, as you can see. And I split them up and separated them. They're on a parchment with just a little bit of flour. Now, this dough takes a long time, so I started it earlier today. You can also go straight to your local pizzeria or the grocery store and get a really healthy whole wheat dough or a gluten-free dough or any dough. Or you can take your hand at making your own, but I'll put the recipe up. This is actually a gluten-free one. Now, I rolled one out, not well. I tried to get an oval shape, but I am not very good with the rolling pin. This dough didn't want to go in the right direction. Now, I have just some ingredients. I think if you're going to make a calzone, you really need simple ingredients because what you want to do is highlight everything. So, I have some lovely broccoli here. Yes, I'm putting vegetables in it, or you can put meat or whatever you want. We got the greens, people. And I have some mozzarella cheese. I shredded some of it. You can use the buffalo mozzarella. You can do Parm or Pecorino Romano. So I'm going to chop up some of this broccoli because some of these pieces are really big. Now I've just olive oiled, salt and peppered these. Now what you want to do is we're going to eventually add these in to think. The trick with calzones is don't overfill them. People make the mistake of overfilling, and because we overfill our lovely calzones, that's how come they rip and tear in the oven. All right, so I'm going to switch stuff up, move our broccoli over here, and move this lovely thing over here. Now this cooks at a really high temp at about 400 to 425 in the oven. Now I'm going to lay down some of the broccoli. And I was trying to get a nice oval, but I didn't quite get there. I was doing it fast before the show started because I wanted to make sure that we had one done. The dough you could do it and freeze it, so you could get to the point of the dough is done and then freeze it. I have a little hot pepper because, hey, let's have a little spice in our life. We have a little mozzarella. Now, cheese in a calzone is what you want. Not too much, just enough. Now, here's the thing. To get everything sealed up, you're going to want to use a little olive oil or water. Since I have it on the parchment, I'm going to use the parchment to go over to use it like this to help. Kind of warm in my house, so I don't know if it's gonna, there we go. All right. So you want to make sure everything gets sealed in there. Nice little calzone. So seal the edges. You can use some olive oil or you can use some water, whatever is best. I mean, eventually I'm going to seal the whole thing with olive oil, but water around the edges, you just want to seal the dough up nice and tight. All right. I know my edges don't look good because it's very, very warm in here and it's just not working out well. All right. We're going to brush this with olive oil. I have a brush right over here. On the back, I'm just making a regular tomato basil sauce to dip everything in. And the olive oil will help it brown in the oven. Perfect. Just brush it on there. You know, you can put almost anything in a calzone. I find this a great way to hide the veggies from the kids. Because if you're going to do this, this is a great way. You can put almost anything in there. You put cheese on anything, kids will eat it. I promise you. Now, because we're doing this, I'm going to take the other ones and turn them into one more calzone. And we are going to turn the other ones into personal pizzas. What do you guys think? Pizza, calzone, votes. Oh, I see a thumbs up for another calzone. All right, I'm going to put this to the side and start working on the other one. Now, I have a lovely rolling pin. I have a French rolling pin and I have a regular rolling pin. This is what a French rolling pin looks like right here. They're quite lovely. They're easy. They're really good for even pressure. I have ones also that are filled with like handles. It all depends on what you want and what you're doing. So we have everything here. Some rows better than others, but you want to keep them covered so that they don't dry out on you. All right. Perfect. All right. So for your family, this dough makes 2 large pizzas or 4 individuals. And I'm going to just keep going. Now that I'm going to keep going, I want you guys to make sure that you tune in to my Instagram tonight and you can see the final products. You will also get to see anything that I made. You can go straight to our blog. So if you're looking for any recipes from Food for Life, you can look for them on the Bella Foodie blog. As you can see, I have our stuff up here too. That is our Facebook and my website. So if you want to take a look, you can find everything there. As always, I want you guys to have a wonderful Wednesday night. And I want you guys to enjoy some beautiful sunshine if you have it. Get out there in that spring weather. And hopefully you guys can come and join us in person in Rhode Island. Let's make sure about that. Here are the tickets one more time for you guys to take a look at. So if you're in the New England area, maybe we'll get to meet in person if you come out to Providence. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, enjoy your night and let's get cooking. Let's see what we got.